The intent of this video to highlight TEC's first 60 years and thank you, our customer and carrier employees, for participation in our history. Our industry all started with Willis Haviland Carrier, who is known as the father of air conditioning. In 1901, while employed by Buffalo Forge Company, Willis Carrier began testing methods of controlling humidity for a printing company. On July 17, 1902, drawings were completed for what came to be recognized as the world's first scientific air conditioning system. Over the next few years, he made refinements to his original design. In 1904, he applied for a patent which was granted in 1906 for his apparatus for treating air. In 1907, another patent was granted for dew point control. Later that year, Buffalo Forge Company formed a subsidiary company named Carrier Air Conditioning Company of America. The effect of World War I on the Buffalo Forge Company was a decision to confine its activity to manufacturing. Because of this decision, Willis Carrier and 6 other engineers left Buffalo Forge Company and formed Carrier Engineering Corporation. Carrier Corporation was formed in 1930 through the merger of Carrier Engineering Corporation, Brunswick Crochelle Company, and York Heating and Ventilating Corporation. Temperature Equipment Corporation traces its roots back to 1935, when Hal Wheeler and Harold Prebinson were able to secure the Carrier franchise for the Chicagoland area. The first meeting of the shareholders and the board of directors was on January 12, 1935, 2831 South Parkway in Chicago. The first Carrier installation was at Lever Brothers Company in Hammond, Indiana. This letter from the chief draftsman of Lever Brothers indicates complete satisfaction with the installation, the Carrier product, and the only problem being a vendor-supplied motor. In 1937, Air Comfort moved to larger facilities at 1307 South Michigan Avenue in Chicago. Here is shown their engineering department, 3 of their sales engineers and service technicians. The 2 engineers on the left, Bill Long and Lou Streb, went on from Air Comfort to form the Chicago Condition Air Company, which still is a very viable mechanical contractor and good customer of TEC today. In the 1930s, Carrier produced first warm air condensing furnace, or the predecessor to the high-efficiency furnaces that we see today, basic difference being today's versions are much smaller. Here's a picture of a roving van of Air Comforts which was used to supply its servicemen with parts and material during trips through the loop. The officers of Air Comfort were Harold J., known as Prebinson, as president, Dave Forberg, general manager, Ted Schuler as controller, and Jim Smers as sales manager. Chuck Waters was the chief engineer, Bill Cade the construction superintendent, Jim Munkrud, service manager, who rose through the ranks to eventually become president of Air Comfort, and J.L. Gray, who was the general manager of Air Conditioning Products, which is a contracting firm located in Gary that Air Comfort purchased, and later its name was changed to Air Comfort of Indiana. Chuck Waters, incidentally, went on to form with Lloyd Qualley a company called Application Engineering Corporation, which is very viable in the HVAC business today. Here we see technicians working on an open drive Carrier compressor. Basically, this is the same compressor that we see on the marketplace today, the real workhorse in the industry. Jim Munkrud has shown the operation of a Carrier room air conditioner, which was donated by Air Comfort to Henrotin Hospital to help in the rehabilitation of a fireman who was severely burned in a fire. Air Comfort outgrew its quarters on South Michigan Avenue and moved to 816 North Costner Avenue in Chicago. And here we see salespeople, Bill Cole, Ray Hansen, Jim Smers, Vice President of Sales, and Harry Schuster. And their sales department, and Dave Forberg conducting an engineering seminar for Air Comfort sales and application personnel. We see their sales engineering office, service dispatching office. In the mid-1950s, it was decided that TEC should handle the wholesale and the parts end of the business, so the time came to split up Air Comfort and TEC. Shown are the products that we distributed in the mid-1950s: open drive, water-cooled and condenserless systems, water-cooled package units, room air conditioners, ice makers, and Carrier residential weather makers. TEC dedicated itself to providing engineering assistance for Carrier dealers, installation and service assistance, and sales assistance, in addition to providing operating and financial assistance for our customers whenever it was necessary. TEC established a business philosophy to grow on. To do so, we have dedicated ourselves to the sound business principles of honesty and fair dealing toward all. Every one of TEC's franchise dealers treated with equal consideration as regards price, availability of air conditioning units, credit terms, sales, engineering and service assistance, and business counseling. Temperature Equipment Corporation has no favored few. The franchise TEC dealer is never cut adrift, never abandoned when business conditions tighten up. Instead, we redouble our efforts to aid our dealer and to improve his sales position. TEC has never offered token distributor services. We are vitally interested in the business future of each and every one of our dealers. We constantly strive to better our services and to conscientiously promote the sale of Carrier air conditioning in the Chicago metropolitan area through our dealer organization. In 1955, a young man by the name of Frank Mungo joined TEC. Prior to that, graduated from Carrier's dealer engineering training course. 1956, this is a picture of our sales force, which included Jack Todd, Jack McPherson, Frank Mungo, Roy Heyer, who was our sales manager, Ed Ross, in charge of room air conditioners, Lou Hatz, and Bud Fisher, who was our service manager. In September of 1958, Ed Ross, a room air conditioner manager, made headlines by providing a flagpole sitter with the comforts of Carrier air conditioning, is shown here, bringing the Carrier room air conditioner up to pole sitter's perch. Depicted here are Carrier products available in 1959, many of which look like today's equipment. Obvious changes today would include more sophisticated electrical controls, higher efficiency equipment, but we at that time had a very broad selection with products to apply for consulting engineers and mechanical contractors. In 1961, the usage of residential air conditioning, both new construction and add-on, increased dramatically. Here depicted is a $20,000 home that was available in 1961, built by Castle Homes and air conditioned by Division Heating using Carrier equipment. Division Heating was one of our larger residential new construction contractor dealers at the time, and family name is still associated with TEC. Here we see Virginia DiStefano and Frank Mungo on one of our incentive trips in Jamaica in 1961. Other versions of people on the trip, and another trip to Rome. In 1963, the spin-off between Air Comfort Corporation and Temperature Equipment Corporation was completed. The officers of TEC were then H.J. Prevenson, President, Roy Heyer, Executive Vice President, Lou Hatz, Vice President, Frank Mungo, Vice President, and Ted Schuler, Secretary-Treasurer. And in 1964, TEC moved from its location in Chicago to 2000 North Ruby Street, and during that year also opened an office and took over the Carrier distributorship for the South Bend area. Room air conditioners were very popular in the 60s, both as add-ons to residences and apartment buildings. Consequently, TEC heavily promoted room air conditioners through our dealer organization under the able direction of Jack McPherson. And here depicted was a steam engine trip from the Chicago area out west, where we would present the Carrier product offering for 1965 during the way before and back. We also conducted many open houses to introduce our dealers and contractors to current Carrier products. Here shown is Dave Forberg, President of Air Comfort, along with Roy Heyer. and Dave Forberg and Jim Smers of Air Comfort looking over a carrier installation. Jim Smers Jr. later succeeded his father and became president of Air Comfort Corporation. Another TEC open house in February of 1969 shows Jack McPherson, Ted Schuler, and Frank Mungo talking with Fran Hochschild, wife of Bill Hochschild, one of our very early carrier dealers, founded Northern Weathermakers. Jack is also presenting, along with Ed Fisher, our room air conditioner offering to Seymour Bloom. Mr. Prevenson died on April 4th, 1970, and a new management team was put in place. The Board of Directors meeting, Roy Heyer was elected chairman of the board, Ted Schuler was elected executive vice president, and Frank Mungo was elected president and chief operating officer. TEC has shared the growth of the air conditioning industry and has kept pace as an exclusive carrier distributor for many years. It is a full-service distributorship covering the greater Chicago and northern Indiana area and inventories carrier products collectively. But the placement of this team marked a new era in TEC's history and resulted in outstanding growth. Here shown at an open house are Frank Mungo, Roy Heyer, and Ted Schuler, and John Hall and Bob Tolan. We observed our 40th anniversary in 1975 and again showed outstanding growth both in dealers, sales, and in our physical plant size. Business was not all work, as outlined this 1975 fishing trip, where you see Frank Mungo and Bill Bodinas, some of our customers, enjoying a fishing trip. Here we see Frank Appa, Merchants Environmental Systems, Lou Hoekstra of Hoekstra Heating, Mike Hurwitz of National Heat and Power, Greg Streb of Chicago Condition Air, Ray Gall of Berwyn Western, John Wojak of Midwesco, Ed Gelfand, Crown Temperature Engineering, Bill Gassel, Clapman Heating and Air Conditioning, Clarence Jungles, Jungles Heating, Ron Miller of Ideal Heating and Sheet Metal. And the group from Air Comfort's Gary operation, Dave McAfee, Jay Gray, George Drachel, and John Herr, Maynard Kruger with the Dalton Corporation, and Dave Leonard and Frank Duffy with Area Sheet Metal. Also some TEC employees shown at a party. Another TEC open house in 1979 shows a cowboy format and consequently the attire. So we see Jack McPherson, Ted Jack, and Dick Moats. And the guy with a lot of hair and the mustache in the upper left, Skip Mungo, who presently is our general sales manager and vice president, and Vince DiStefano, at the time worked in our order department, Kathy Strutz, who was on our switchboard, along with Don Monkfold, Sharon Monkfold. Don heads up our order department. In January of 1982, Carrier introduced the new Weathermaker 1 line at a showing in Chicago, and that line proved to be one of the more successful Carrier products introduced in recent years. You also see Jack McPherson getting ready for a Carrier trip as a result of exceeding Carrier's quota on room air conditioner sales. Pictures from our 1980 Christmas party and Bob Mungo's 82 birthday party. Again, more pictures from Christmas of 82. And please note Ed and Dorothy Sherwin in the lower right-hand corner, and we'll tell you a little bit more about them a little later. Pictures from our company Halloween party. In 1985 marked TEC's 50th anniversary as a Carrier distributor, and we celebrated with an open house. Here shown is Frank Mungo accepting recognition of our 50th anniversary as a Carrier distributor from Bill Sammons, the president of Carrier Corporation. Roy Heyer and Frank Mungo followed by Frank along with Roy and Dick Hoschild, looking at our award for 50 years as a carrier distributor. Here shown are Roy, Frank, Herb Gregory, and Bob Toland, and Bob Stanek and Maynard Kruger, both from the Dalton Corporation. Here Frank is chatting with Bill, and I'm sure he's saying that carrier prices are too high and we must continue to keep them in line to properly compete in the marketplace. Ted Schuler and Roy Heyer talking to Skip Mungo. Tom Novak reviewing our 50 AH indoor air-cooled equipment. Gene Meislow looking at our rooftop equipment. And various customers assembling around the carrier displays. This display is to show the fact that you do not need water-cooled equipment to put equipment indoors commercially in the Chicago marketplace. Various displays on components of carriers' chillers. Here Harry Becker is showing a 30 HL chiller, and we see a variety of indoor air-cooled equipment along with carrier rooftop equipment. We also had a 100-ton carrier air-cooled chiller outside our building on a flatbed. Here shown are Flowtronic expansion valves used in that chiller. The carrier Flowtronic chiller is one of the most accepted carrier products to hit the marketplace in recent years. Relaxing, we see Ed and Bob Ann Johnson of Edwards Engineering, along with Bob Toland, and relaxing in the sun, Ned Levine, formerly of Air Comfort Corporation. Here shown are Dave and Anita Forberg of Air Comfort, and George and Dorothy Bunt, Jones Heating. Here we see Tom and Dee Dee Reedy of Reedy Industries. Here Bob Toland is accepting a plaque from the local chapter of ASHRAE, awarded to TEC for its contribution to ASHRAE research in the Chicago market. Award presented by Tony McGuire on the left and Stan Slazis on the right. Over the years, we also had some retirement parties. Here we see Rosemary Gross, Ted Jacks, pictures of their retirement programs, both shown with Frank Mungo. Tom Kerber on the right, along with Ted and Gloria Jack. Our dinner. Pictures of TEC personnel. 1988 was again a significant year in our growth and diversification, and that's when TEC acquired Bryant Mungo, which up to that time had been a carrier wholly owned distributorship in the Chicagoland market. Dick Legg was also hired away from carrier organization to act as the general manager of the Bryant Mungo operation. More pictures of our Halloween party and our TEC picnics, which we started to do on a regular basis commencing in 1988. In 1988, Joe Nada retired, who had been our parts manager for many years and one of the most respected people so any parts organization in the Chicago area. When anyone had a problem, they knew that Joe would jump in and get a resolution of their problem. In pictures of TEC's picnic in 1989, birthday party for Ted Schuler, 89 Halloween, and Christmas party, our picnic in 1990. In 1991, TEC purchased 500,000 square foot facility on 60 acres located in Lansing, Illinois. The intent was to move our operations down there in stages. First move being our sales order department, pictured here, along with our Bryant Mungo operation. Fortunately, we made our purchase before one of our former employees, Dorothy Sherwin, who worked as a secretary for many years at TEC, managed to win the $42 million Illinois lottery. Otherwise, the price of the Lansing facility might have gone up. 1992, TEC purchased the Harry Alder Company, and it became a division of TEC headed up by Todd Allen. Major management changes were made in the summer of 1992, where Frank Mungo became the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Temperature Equipment Corporation, Bob Tolan the President, Herb Gregory Vice President, Skip Mungo Vice President, David Yanow Vice President of Commercial Products, and Bob Mungo Secretary and Treasurer. Also changes were made at Bryant Mungo, where Dick Legg became President and Francis Donovan Vice President. Todd Allen at the Harry Alder Company was promoted to President. Here shown are Bob and Sue Tolan and Herb Gregory, Mike Bergmeyer, after a round of golf on one of the islands on an incentive trip, and Bob and Ed Ferrier of Rush Mechanical waiting to tee off. Our dealers were busy in 1993 and generated some interesting hobbies. Here we see ballooning from Harry Heinrich of the Heinrich Company with his hot air balloon and his advertisement of his company and carrier. And Don Hendon, who was a cyclist, Tradewinds Heating and Air Conditioning, took his motorcycle on out to Carrier Syracuse headquarters, part of a 12,000-mile tour during the month of August. Rosemont is known by many people, but it also is known as a village of carrier rooftops. As working closely with the village of Rosemont, we have been able to secure a substantial amount of carrier rooftop equipment for their facilities. 1994, we took our customers to Jamaica, and here you can see some of them enjoying the wonderful sunshine. We liked it so well, as did our customers, that we had a repeat trip in 1995. Here is the assembled group, which was DeSandles, Dave and Diane Ireland, Dave and Lynn Yanow, Bob and Marge Mungo, Ron and Linda Schluter, Steve and Debbie Kripe, Alan and Diane Hoffmanner, Jim and Sandy Surik, Dan and Marcia Wagner, Vince and Donna DeStefano, and Ray and Cheryl Walker. Here shown are Lynn and Dave Yanow along with Sue Tolan, and Alan Mary Hirsch of AA Services, Mel Gustafson, Joyce Vera, Dave and June Speakout, Dave and Diane Ireland, Dan and Marcia Wagner, Jim and Sandy Surik, Ron and Pat Macedo, Pat and Bill Wantuck, along with Bill Jr. and Mary Wantuck. Here's Joe and Laura Cantelli, along with Alan and Diane Hoffmanner, and Ray and Terry Higgins. Here we see Lee and Frank Mungo, along with Sue and Bob Tolan. 1995 represented a year of carrier products that should bring us into the 2000s. Duct-free split systems, our high-efficiency gas furnaces, our package chillers that'll fit through a 30-inch door, high-efficiency gas rooftops and cooling only or electric heat rooftops, and complete control systems to operate carrier equipment. The role of TEC as a full-service carrier distributor should be defined here, and this will conclude our video. A manufacturer's contribution is easily identified by his product, but the distributor's contribution of added value is complicated, seldom stated, and sometimes not understood. As an independently owned distributorship, TEC has both an economic purpose and an economic justification. We want to take this opportunity to point out the added value TEC gives the carrier products it distributes. It establishes qualified, reputable dealers and HVAC contractors that will perform the retailer's function in all the marketing areas of TEC's assigned carrier territory. Manages the TEC carrier territory to provide an adequate and growing base of dealers and contractors to regularly purchase carrier equipment. It pays carrier for product and takes title to it. Maintains a sound financial posture. Maintains adequate inventory of regularly stocked equipment in local warehouses. We maintain adequate stocks of carrier parts and supplies for both in and out of warranty use. Purchase carrier parts and equipment from other distributors where shortages occur to satisfy the customer's requirements. Consolidate carrier equipment in a local warehouse from multiple manufacturing sources to enable a customer to pick up a heating and air conditioning system on a single trip. We anticipate local market needs and purchases, take delivery, pay carrier, and store reasonable products in advance of seasonal needs, thereby permitting carrier to produce seasonable products on a non-seasonable schedule. We expedite equipment deliveries. We provide interchange of marketing information between carrier and our dealers, contractors, and specifiers. We have plans, offers, and financially participates in promotions and incentive programs for dealers and contractors in the residential and commercial and industrial markets. We plan, offer, and financially participate in the cost of local dealer and dealer listing advertising. We have an in-house advertising agency to facilitate local advertising for maximum results and cost effectiveness. We provide a 12-month marketing program for carrier dealers. We financially participate in local public utility promotions. We introduce new carrier products in the marketplace. We provide written quotations on plan and specification jobs. We offer technical training in engineering, service, application, and installation for dealers and contractors. We prepare submittals on plan and specification jobs, offer sales training for dealer personnel, and offer management counsel and training to dealers. We provide service engineering and supervision for carrier products wherever necessary. And we assist the dealers and contractors and specifiers in carrier equipment selection and application. We maintain a staff of qualified engineers to train carrier consultant personnel in the latest carrier computer and engineering programs. We attempt to obtain specifications for carrier products through consulting engineers and other specifiers. We provide financial assistance including administration of and participation in the cost of floor plans for dealers. We extend reasonable credit to dealers and contractors. We listen to customer complaints and administer and handle the adjustment of defects with the contractor and his customers. We administer the carrier warranty policy, maintaining, issuing, and accounting for warranty replacement parts and adjusting warranty disputes with dealers and contractors and their customers. We work with dealers and contractors to help them with in-transit problems with common carriers, help negotiate adjustments with the transportation companies, and arranging for replacement and/or repair of damaged equipment. Most importantly, we want to thank each and every one of you, our dealers, our contractors, consulting engineers, other customers, because without you, temperature equipment would not exist, and we look forward to our next 60 years. Thank you very much.